Okay, live stream is up and running. So we are in the early morning at Coningsby in the north of England, and we have the SEPECAT Jaguar sat in front of us. So we're going to work through getting the airplane up and running, and we'll take it for a flight. I want to try and make sure the radio is working properly. Did a flight with it the other day and couldn't get the radios working for whatever reason. So anyway, let's go and put some drop tanks on it, shall we? So within the tablet, first of all we'll get rid of the covers, the ladder and the wheel chocks, but we're going to go in and put some tanks on it because we're going to fill it up with fuel. Ready for a long-ish flight. So now we've got the tanks on it, we can go into flight performance and mass and balance, go to fuel, and you can see we've got a lot more room to fill it up with fuel now. And you will notice if we go and fill it up all the way, I think it will actually cause problems for the aeroplane. We'll go to 80% across the board, I guess. Load that in the aircraft, and you can see it sagging on its wheels there. Just make sure my volume is okay. It's looking okay. Okay, so we're going to go around the aeroplane. So first things first, go and turn the batteries on, and that kicks off an alarm, which is fine. Then we go and remove the pins from the throttles. Go and put the anti-collision lights on, which is over here. And then prepare to start the engines. So to do that, we need to make sure, and I think by default it's open, yeah, the exhaust for the APU is underneath here. You can just about see it there, poking out from underneath the aeroplane. So we need to make sure that we have extended the spoilers. So we're going to go, and that's the wrong switch by the way, that's the right switch. We'll put the hydraulics on auto, and then we can exercise. You can see they just moved there with my controls to make sure that the spoilers are open, and then turn the hydraulic pumps back off again. Okay, so down behind the stick, I'm just going to remove the stick to do this. We're going to go and put the fuel pumps to on, and then turn the APU on, and then start the APU. We're going to put the bleed air on. And we're going to start engine number 2. So you'll see immediately the RPM coming up. It's all fairly automated. Once it gets past 50%, we'll turn the alternator and the rectifier on for engine number 2 as well. Okay, so I'm just making sure I can hear myself. If this gets too loud, yeah, it's going to get loud. Let's turn it down a bit. So it's gone past 50%, so we'll go and turn alternator. If you push it all the way forwards, it resets it. Same for the rectifier, and then let it fall back. So once we've done that, we'll go and turn engine number 1 on. See RPM coming up. Just waiting for it to get to 50%. And then alternator on for engine number 1 and rectifier on for engine number 1. So after starting the engines, we can go and turn the APU, or turn the bleed air off first, then the APU off, and then we can go and close the canopy. So we're going to go look overhead and find the handle and pull it down. Then we're going to lock the canopy. And then we need to look after the pressurization. So right hand side, and the lever is down here, so I'm going to need to dip down a bit to get to it. So that pressurizes the cockpit. Put the air conditioning on, keep ourselves nice and air conditioned in the cockpit. And then turn the horizon on, so you'll see the attitude indicator come to life. Make sure the pumps are on auto, they are. Then the hydraulic pump now can go to auto and be locked in position. We can go and deal with some of this stuff now. So the radios, turn the ILS on to M and turn the TACAN to REC. Turn the IFF to standby. And we're preparing to taxi now. So inside the cockpit we're going to make sure that the spoilers are now retracted so we can see that happen outside. And go and put the taxi light on, so it's down here. We can put the HUD to flight. Next one, isn't it? There we go, flight, and that gives us the horizon marker. Calibrate the altimeter, flaps to 20 degrees. So we just make sure flaps are moving. And they are. So there's been a fix to the Jaguar since it first came out. When it was first released, the flaps axis was reversed, and they've reversed it back again now. So it's now not misbehaving in the way that it was. So we're going to, before we start taxiing, we're going to turn the pitot heat on. I'm going to go taxi out to the runway, so let's turn the head tracking on and have a look at the map, see where we are on the airbase. So we're going to turn right, then left, then right. So what is the role of the Jaguar? It's got a, I'm just reading the live stream comments. It's got a bit of a checkered history. It started out as a trainer, and it was so good that they turned it into an attack aircraft, low-level attack aircraft. Okay, so it's going to turn right out towards runway 25 here at Coningsby. So yeah, the Jaguar became this fantastic low-level strike aircraft. When all it was originally designed for was used as a trainer. It has to be said though, the trainer variant, or the first version of it, was underpowered, and it received more powerful engines later in its life, which made obviously the strike aircraft possible. But before it had the more powerful engines, it wasn't very good. So it's got two afterburning engines. They are very noisy and very smoky. It's kind of its era, early 80s. looks the part though, doesn't it? So something that's worth pointing out actually before we get too far, if we go into here and go to fuel, we can reset this counter here, which was manually set, so the pilot had to do the maths to figure this out. So we got just over 4,000 kilograms of fuel on board. So the counter's affected obviously by the fuel flow, but it had obviously no way with these early aircraft, there's no sensors in the tanks to be able to tell it how much you've got overall. Therefore, you would do the maths on filling the plane up and put the number of kilograms of fuel into the counter, and then the fuel flow rate would burn down on that or pull down on it. But you could adjust it, because obviously it's not the most accurate way of measuring fuel in the world. And plus, you might refuel. Later versions of this, I'm pretty sure, had a refueling capability. Okay, I'm just going to go and check the ILS frequency. So 111 and 15 it's down here. So 111 15. Yep, the guides have just come alive, which is what you would hope for. Okay, so I'm going to hold it on the toe brakes. Leaps into the air. Should we do this takeoff from outside? It'll make it look good, won't it? So we're just turning to reciprocal, which would be 70 degrees here. Yeah, it was in such a shallow turn. Let's have a look on the map. So we're going out back towards the ILS just to try it out, really, to make sure it's working. So So there's the airfield. So we'll extend downwind and then come back in. So we just climbed up through 400 knots. Look, it's really quick. That's what it's designed for. It's not the most manoeuvrable thing in the world, but it's quick and stable. So you can see as soon as you cut the throttle, the speed just falls off. It's like a bit of a brick. There's the airfield. Do we get any distance measuring equipment? I'm not sure that we do on ILS. Just coming down to 3,000 feet. At 230 knots, so we're going to go and extend the flaps slightly. You can see the indicator showing up there for them. And we'll turn back around towards the airfield. Coming down to 2,500 feet. See the runway just about out over there. So we should. So we're below the glide slope at the moment, look. So let's pull the nose up gently, scrub off some of this speed. So the glide slope is sliding back down. It's quite difficult to see. And here comes the centre line. Let's just have a quick look. Yeah, slightly off, but not too much. You can see the runway down there. I'm just looking at the needle here. Yeah, it is tracking correctly. The runway is right there. So we're slightly above the glide slope. Put the gear down. It's got extremely draggy gear, that's why you can hear all the noise coming from outside. Let's go full flaps. Just show you this from outside. I'm terrible at flying from outside, so I'm going to come back in, because then we get to see the airspeed accurately. It's a bit of a so-and-so for wandering around with airspeed. So we're looking like we're okay on the glide slope and the centre line. We're about okay on speed as well. Getting a bit low. So let's just bleed off a bit more speed. and we're down. So flaps back to takeoff position. Look at it wandering around. I told you I was rubbish at flying from outside. It does tend to wander around though. It doesn't stay going the direction you point it. You have to fly it. Let's do one more. So turning to 70 degrees again. It's kind of an aeroplane of a bygone era, isn't it? You don't get this sort of aeroplane around anymore. It predates the Tornado. Therefore, it doesn't, have any of the modern toys at all. Even the head-up display is quite basic. Okay. 400 knots, heading reciprocal to the airfield. So yes, just reading the live stream comments there, it actually absolutely was used in the Gulf War. It helped the Tornadoes with the low-level strike capability. Coming down to 230 knots, so flaps to gear down. So we can see here comes the centre line. We're above the glide slope at the moment, but we're just coming back towards it, look. The runway's right in front of us, over there. You can see we are sinking at the moment. So if I increase the power, and give ourselves some more flaps, you'll see the marker come back up. So we've sunk well below the glide slope there. It just shows you, doesn't it? It's practice in this aeroplane means everything. So come back almost to 200 knots. Let's come back off the speed. So we want about 150, 140 on finals. Still below the glide slope. Yeah, look at it sink. Of course we're heavy because we have the drop tanks on as well, which means we probably need to stay a little bit quicker. Let's get back onto the glide slope. There we go. And then manage the speed. Okay, we are gear up, flaps up, flat out. Once you get below, obviously we're heavy at the moment, so anything below about 140 knots and it just started to sink quite dramatically. But you can see that we've come out to 300 knots, climbing out really quickly. Okay, let's go and have a play then. It's all rather neat and tidy, isn't it? Let's go and have a play and go to the Gamston VOR. So 11280. Let's have a play with doing that. So you can see the arrow has turned there. So what we're going to do is turn until we're going straight towards the VOR. Okay. So I'm just looking around in the cockpit to see if there's anything in the way of distance measuring equipment that I've not noticed. Not sure that there is. Whoa, see what I mean about it moving around? So if we have a look on the map, we can obviously see that we're flying straight towards the Gamston VOR. Should we have a look in the book? What I'm going to do is cheat for a moment. It does have an autopilot hidden in the tablet. So put altitude hold on, heading hold on, leave vertical speed alone. We'll kill the throttle for a while and leave it long enough that we can get to the community folder and we can go and look in the Jaguar and go into... No. Oh, is it an online documentation for this? I've forgotten. Let's go then and have a look at SEPECAT Jaguar MSFS documentation. Actually, I've got it as a link there, look. I've just realised. Oh, they've moved it. AzurPoly group. Okay, resources. Jaguar, changelog. Manual. Revision 3. Here we go. It says a new version. Let me just turn the head tracking off so we don't distract ourselves. So let's have a search through this for DME. Nothing. So you can do it on TACAN. Okay, that makes sense. So let's use a TACAN station then. We're about to fly straight over Gamston, look. So have we got a TACAN? There's no TACANs over this side of the country. Is there any on the way to Wales by any chance? We're off towards the Eryri, as its new name is. So let's fly the... Actually, let's go to the Trent VOR next. 11570. So if we just go 11570, turn the tablet off for a moment. We need to go about 240 degrees. This is cheating, I know. This will turn the aeroplane towards the Trent VOR. Obviously, it's by the time it's turned, we'll be to the right, but we're heading over this way. There's no TACANs over on the west side of the country, are there? They're all over on the right, or on the east. So we would be able to get distance with TACAN, but obviously it hasn't got the radio hardware to do distance from VORs. So what we'll do is have a flight over towards Snowdonia, or Erbydfa, isn't it? Oh, sorry, no, Snowdonia is Eryri. I always get this wrong. And then once we've had a few laps of the Mach loop, we're very heavy, look, we've 3,000 kilograms of fuel still. We're running at about 90% RPM, doing just over 400 knots. And altimeter is showing 4,500 feet at the moment. Should we get Say Intentions up and running as well? Can you drop the tanks? I've not tried. I'm guessing we can change in the tablet the loadout while we're in mid-air. I don't think it stops you from doing so. Or maybe it does, because that's not... Let's try it. Well, that's lighting up.
Good morning, this is Diamond Papa Rob Alpha requesting startup.
So what's our code? X-ray X-ray 741.
Information is current. Clear to Liverpool via the TNT-2N departure.
Ooh, there's a new update to Say Intentions. Let's see what this is going to do then.
6000. Departure on 123.988, squawk 3425.
Charlie Kilo, request startup.
So that's going to force it to shut down Say Intentions while it updates it, replaces it, and launches it again. It's all clever stuff, isn't it? There it is. X-ray X-ray 741, wasn't it? So we want the aircraft to be Jaguar. And yeah, it's going to be Jaguar. And X-ray X-ray 741. So auto that, Jaguar X-ray 741. And we'll use that a bit later on. Something I might do though is go and turn off, if it isn't already turned off, the Yeah, it's already off the tour guide because they start talking randomly. So the Jaguar, it's party piece then. So if we're going to fly from Trent, measure distance. There's Barmouth. So 256 degrees. We'll just keep an eye on the heading then. You can see there's the Trent VOR whizzing past us, the arrow's pointing at it. So let's go and turn that autopilot off. And we'll fly low over the fields for a bit of fun. Look at the plane start moving around the moment we turn it off. Okay. So this is what the Jaguar was designed for, and it's really good at it. So we're whistling along here 450 knots without really trying. Engines are still only just above 90%. So I'm being asked, are we going to the Mach Loop? Yes, we are. So we got, how much have we got left? 2,800 kilograms of fuel left. I mean, we could burn through a lot of it very quickly if we so wished, just by opening the engines up and obviously put the afterburner on, and you're effectively pumping fuel straight out of the back of the aeroplane. Should we have a, we'll give it a few seconds at it just to see how fast it will go. Okay, so 100% on the power. So keep an eye on the needles. This is not afterburning yet. And go for it. So just coming up for 500 knots. $550 knots. So I don't think it will go supersonic at low level. But yeah, look at the speed of the fuel pumping down now. you can't see the integers on the end coming down. So I'm going to come off the afterburner. Down to 550, so even at 50% power, look, it's not losing speed that quickly. We didn't turn the landing light off, did we? Well, the taxi light even. I can't get to the switch. This is one of the problems with head tracking. I'm going to turn head tracking off for a moment. Okay. I wonder if it has any problems being upside down for a while. It's sinking, because obviously the wings are the wrong way up, so they're not generating lift. Okay, so we can decide how we come into the Mach loop. If we go across to Bala, let's do that way. So let's get a bit of altitude so we can see the lake on the way in. So we're just cutting across here, so we can see the lake. Let's have a look from outside. The other side of this cloud, isn't it? Let's cut more further away. You can start to read the hills. So we're heading towards a ridge here. There's the ridge. So if we follow that ridge, and then it will take us out towards the lake. Loading on fuel, 2,500 kilograms. So there's the beginning of the lake. Or is it the next one? No, it's this one. So, if we follow the line of the lake into the valley up ahead, we will see the entrance to the Mac Loop, because it will take us straight past the exit. Yeah, we're going to come down. Normally you come in here and you double back on yourself. There's Chorus there, look. Or coming round, there's Chorus down in there. Sorry, actually no, that's here it is, sorry. There's Cross, yeah. So when we come down we should be able to see the entrance. It's right in front of us, isn't it? So if we look out left, you'll see the exit in a moment. So we're heading straight for the entrance, look, it's just there. So that's the exit, I think. Yeah, there's the main road, look. Okay, let's get lined up. Time to go Mac looping, ladies and gentlemen. So we're just approaching Macuncliffe. Just gone past the belly of the aircraft. Let's open the engines up. And it's looking pretty, isn't it? Now the trees have some leaves on at last. Should we have a look outside? Still not opened the afterburners up. We're doing just over 400 knots at 100% power. Nearly got that wrong. And we come barreling round and have another go. So we'll leave the engine at 100% military power this time and see how it handles at these sort of speeds. Doesn't like turning, does it? And this time we'll open the... How much fuel have we got? Yeah, 2,000, we got enough. We're going to open the afterburners on the way round the back. Okay, afterburners are on. So that's 400 knots. Let's have a look at this from outside. It's going to look epic, isn't it? It's difficult to do that when you can't see where you're going. Which means we've gone really wide here. Still full afterburner. We'll try and hold full afterburner until we come out of the top, and we'll see how we do. Okay, so we're going to bank into here. We're a bit high. It does change the behaviour of the aeroplane quite a lot with the extra bit of speed. Whoa! Touched the wing on the wall. Serves us right, really. So it just shows you, yeah, that change in the behaviour of the aeroplane at extreme speed is quite marked. So we come back out of the Mach loop. That's interesting. It's almost like the aeroplane pulls itself down with that extra bit of speed. You saw it when I opened the afterburner up, coming out of the away from Machynlleth. The aeroplane pulled itself towards the floor. I had to trim it slightly. We got 1700. Let's go again. So 100%. We've got enough fuel. Doing it a little bit now. Yeah, we're not going to make that turn. Oh, it's getting really draggy. Look how much speed we lost. We're down to 300 knots. So let's go and open the afterburner. and let it get some speed up. To see if we have the same issue again, with it sucking itself towards the floor at extreme speeds. I'm having to trim in more and more elevator as we speed up. So we're holding just about 500 knots, even with the manoeuvring. So it's doing about coming up towards 550 knots. So this is where we came unstuck. Coming through here, it pulled itself into the floor basically when it was banked over. Maybe we give the floor a little bit more grace this time. Yeah. That was odd though, although I had trimmed it that time I guess, before we got there. As we sped up I was feeding in more and more elevator trim. Okay, we've got 1100 kilograms of fuel, just about enough to get home. So we're going to go up the coast to Valley. We'll follow the coastline, just shorten the route a little bit. I guess we can try and call Valley on the radio as well. We've got Say Intentions running, so there's no reason why not. There's Barmouth. So let's have a look at the frequencies. .221. I wonder if Say Intentions knows about it. No, it's got Carnarvon. So there's the... I'm going to have to turn head tracking off to do this. Is too dangerous. There's the comm radio. Okay, where have they hidden the... Oh, it's the rollers are next to the numbers, I guess. I've not played with this in this aeroplane yet. No, you can't adjust those directly. Do we have to do it via the tablet, maybe? Nope. Okay, this is a mystery. Well, if we overfly Valley, hopefully it will light up on here. Ah, I know how we can do this. What is the frequency for RAF Valley's tower? Or just ask the mentor.
The frequency for RAF Valley's tower is 125.23 MHz. You can use this frequency for both approach and departure communications. Remember to state your aircraft type and position when you contact them. For example, RAF Valley Tower, Jaguar X-Ray 741, 5 miles north at 5,500 feet, inbound for landing.
It's not going to tell us in here, is it? There must be a way of doing this. Why don't we read the book? Bear with me. Panel is displaying COM1 frequency. Can be modified with the dials. You could have fooled me. Oh, you have to click on them. The mouse doesn't change shape. So we wanted 122.1, didn't we? And we need to see which way up we are. We're in the middle of cloud. So this is the headland. So by the time I tune this in, we're going to hit the ground somewhere. This is the worst system I've ever seen. Done it, finally. So whereabouts are we? Going on a wild goose chase, that's where we're going. It was literally 1 pixel difference made the numbers either go up or down. It's X-Ray 741, wasn't it, our course line? Let's have a quick look. Yeah. RAF Valley Jaguar X-Ray 741 approaching from the southeast, requesting full stop landing.
Jaguar 741, wind 0206, runway 07, cleared to land.
Clear to land, runway 07, Jaguar X-ray 741. Well, that's a shame. I thought we were going to get to play with the ILS, but we're coming in. Have they just given us runway 07 at Carnarvon? That's rubbish. We want runway 13 at Valley, please. Valley, Jaguar X-ray 741 requesting landing runway 31 at Valley. Well, runway 13 even at Valley.
Jaguar 741, wind 0206, runway 31, cleared to land.
That's funny, look, we've just exposed the problem with this. It's just taken what I said and just gone with it. Even though that runway doesn't exist, it's runway 13, not 31. Valley, Jaguar X-ray 741 requesting full stop landing runway 13 at Valley.
Jaguar 741, wind 0206, runway 13, cleared to land.
Clear to land runway 13, Jaguar X-ray 741. Isn't that funny? In that moment there, we exposed one of the problems with AI. Oh, there is a runway 31 though. Okay, so it was allowing a runway. So it wasn't as bad as it making a runway up. So I've just cut the engine back to idle. So, should we go and have a play with the ILS as well while we're here? May as well. Runway is 108.55, the ILS. It's slightly offset here, isn't it? And that's come alive straight away. So we got both the direction and the glide slope and localizer working. Just for a bit of fun, shall we change the weather? So we'll go fairly dark. Actually, I'm not sure where the internal light switches are actually to turn the flood lighting on. That would be quite cool, wouldn't it? No, but what I was thinking is we could have broken, overcast, rain.
CBM Golf Alpha Victor, contact departure.
CBM Alpha Victor, contact angle for departure 125.225.
This is much more like Welsh weather, actually. So we're going to go out over Holy Island. This is better, isn't it? Let's get the landing lights on. So, give you an idea where we are. We're just about to turn in. Okay, we should see we're above the localizer at the moment. So let's just, here it comes, here comes the centre line. Actually, you can see the runway already. I was hoping it was going to be a bit more difficult than that. There's some pretty big puddles around, aren't there? This is only a 2020 airport, which is why we're not getting proper plumes of spray or anything off the wheels. It's a bit of a shame, but looks good though, doesn't it? Anybody notice the bug here?
Taxi to Park 87 via Alpha Delta. Stay with me.
Let's find out where they mean by that before we go anywhere. Alpha Delta. Okay, so we're turning left here. Taxi to parking 87 via Alpha Delta, staying with you. Jaguar X-Ray 741. We have 700 kilograms of fuel left.
Delta Papa X-ray, contact departure on 125.23.
So the lights need to go back to taxi. Yeah, so look at the bug. The rain is being rendered in front of the HUD. That line is being that's inside the cockpit. So the rain shouldn't be obscuring it. Was that Delta, by the way? No. We've got quite a long way to go. So which is 87 then? Did say 87, didn't they? Parking 87. Where's that then? I can't see a parking 87. Maybe LittleNavMap hasn't got it rendered correctly. So we're not going to obey it properly. Whoa, nearly went into the mud. Proper Welsh weather. Let's go and park up somewhere near. Completely ignore ATC's instructions. Should we go and say hello to Mr. Eurofighter over there? Are we going to get past this trolley? Just. Okay, so to shut the plane down we need to go and, if I can get to it, I'm not going to get to it with this view, am I? There we go. Okay, that should have shut the fuel down. Why do we not have the engines shutting off? Interesting. I think we just found another bug. How interesting, that's amazing. That's the wrong one again. I did that earlier, didn't I? Because that switch should stop, that's the boost pump for the engine, so it should just kill it the moment you do that. Oh well. There is another way. You can open the tablet and do it in here. Maybe the rain got into the system. So we'll put the wheel chocks have gone into place. Put the ladder in place. Can we do that yet? God, we have to open the canopy first, maybe. Open, is it? Oh, it's already opened it, isn't it? Because we've done the cold and dark setting. Put the covers on the aeroplane. Put the ladder in place now. And there it is. And put the cover over the cockpit to stop it. Although it's still going to get wet, isn't it? Well, apart from the tumble along the valley when we unintentionally clipped a wing on the floor, we got away with it. So yeah, if anybody's wondering, you can come into here and you can put bombs and stuff on it. Makes it look a bit more serious, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. It's quite late. I need to go to bed and get some sleep. Oh crikey, it's nearly 1 AM. I'll see you all again soon. Take care.